Notre Dame, Oklahoma, Texas, they're not going to have their pro days on the same days.
No. And I'm looking here. It doesn't look like these have been scheduled yet.
Like Ohio State's had theirs, Alabama's had theirs. And so I just wonder, Georgia's had theirs. I just wonder how much they talk to each other about, okay, look, we're doing ours this day. Like, who gets to say it first?
My assumption would be that this is something that happens probably right after the season ends or before, like, middle season.
Right.
And it's got to be people in conjunction with these big schools have to talk to each other. I mean, because they went right from here to Tuscaloosa,
right.
and then they were in Lexington for
Levis.
For Levis. And that was very convenient.
Sure, right. So I wonder how it all plays out. Like, who has the conversation, and when they do that discussion, like, who gets to say first?
I don't know, but hey, good for Marvin Harrison Jr. To get the reps that he had with C.J. Stroud. I mean, he will be back, but God, they look so good together.
And I talked to Bobby this week, and we talked to Austin Ward also.
To the fullest. From sledding at high banks to backyard football in the snow, for 73 winters, we've understood just how important it is to be able to come in from the cold to a safe, toasty house and a cup of mom's hot chocolate. With nearly 1,900 five-star Google reviews and 0% interest on service repairs and installation, you can count on...
I'm with you. I don't like him that much. I did not see enough out of him. You talk about a guy who we don't have good tape on. I mean, him and Richardson both, we don't have great tape on either one of them, great extensive tape, compared to what we've seen on from Stroud and Bryce Young. It's not even comparable. But
I'm sitting here thinking about the Raiders, right? So they got Jimmy G. And would you want to mortgage your on Levis?
Well,
like, that's the thing that I keep thinking about. And I'm just like, do they have other, I don't know. They have a lot.
To a safe, toasty house and a cup of mom's hot chocolate. With nearly 1,900 five-star Google reviews and 0% interest on service repairs and installation, you can count on Sears Heating and Cooling to keep you warm this winter. 614-475-1800.
This is Fan Sports Sunday.
Fan Sports Sunday, Tito and Jem with you till 1:30. By the way, make sure you stick around, because next hour, Maddie Andrews, voice of the Ohio State women's college basketball team here with all the coverage we do on the Fan, will be joining us to talk about the game yesterday in Connecticut. And I said doubtful on a player who's been out, but it's been mistaken. It's been corrected.
Questionable.
LeBron James, questionable to play against the Bulls. He's going to try to test out his foot in pregame action, see how he does that. If it looks okay or feels okay, he's going to play. But he will play now before the regular season ends. That's the key part about this. Not the fact that it might be today.
Right.
But just in general, the fact, though.
But the significance of the win against the Connecticut team that had such historical presence in that round, and then on to the next round, and in 14 straight Final Fours. This was next level stuff for this program and the staff and for Kevin McGuff.
You said that you felt comfortable throughout especially the second half, and which is something I still can't. Like, I know there were like 2 minutes left and they were up by a lot, and I still felt really, really uneasy about everything. Are you going into calling this next game against Virginia Tech with the same feeling that you had going into UConn, or do you have more of a confidence in yourself and the team? Because like this thing it's awesome, but I'm always like the pessimist, and so I'm kind of scared.
Well, they are the number one seed in the region,
right?
And they have a better record than Connecticut had.
Yeah.
And they only lost 4 times to ACC teams. I think Ohio State, who has played against 15 ranked teams this year, and the Buckeyes are 9-6. They got a little advantage, really good, and they average 8 threes per game. So there's a little bit of trepidation there.
Yeah.
But they're 7-2 against ranked teams, so they've succeeded in that regard as well. But no, I don't have the same. Look, I've been a part of UConn bashings as a broadcaster at Ohio State and also at Louisville, probably 10 to 12 times. Never been close until yesterday. So they stick in my craw a little bit. But yesterday was different after the first 6 minutes. I have to get down 10 to 2. Kevin called that timeout. They cut it to 1 late in the quarter. They took command with just a thwarting of a second quarter performance. I mean, it wasn't even debatable. And then there was still a little bit of a run by the Huskies, but UConn, I never felt like had a chance in that second half to get over the mountain. Look, it's a flip of the coin game, I believe, Monday night for Ohio State to get to their second Final Four in their first in 30 years. But I do like where this team is leadership-wise and how they've gotten here with now a healthy J.C. Sheldon and a freshman Cody McMahon that's playing at an All-American level.
She's awesome.
Matt, we got to get you out of here quickly here, but I want to ask you this, because I want to get a little peek behind the curtain and know Matt Andrews a little bit more. So you called a lot of big games. You've called baseball. You've called basketball. You've been on the sideline for football. You've done so many different things in your broadcasting career. When you were growing up, was there a broadcaster, not that you said, I want to be like that guy, was there a broadcaster who inspired you? If you want to say Paul Keels to make him feel old, you can. But is there somebody else, like somebody out there that you like, when you were growing up, you said, you know what, I want to do this, and this is the guy who is the reason I want to do this?
Well, it's one with the Reds.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
I worked in minor league baseball forever, still do some Clippers games, and can't dream, but after 20 years of doing that, about 5 years ago, I realized that was all right. It's okay to move on from that. And I'm here where I love to be, but Marty Brenneman would be that answer, buddy.
And then Paul Keels.
Of course, Paul's in the top couple. Yeah, I listened to him, yes, for a long time in the 90s. Absolutely.
There we go. Hey, Matt, look.
Absentively, as I might say.
Absentively, yes. Thanks for the time, brother. Enjoy Seattle. Get a win on Monday. We'll talk to you back in town.
Go Bucks. Thanks, guys.
There we go. That was Matt Andrews. Be on the call for the game on Monday night when Ohio State takes on Virginia Tech. I love Matt Andrews.
I do too. I mean, seriously, I made a point to make sure I was listening to him.
Yes, absolutely.
Yesterday, and so I'm excited for tomorrow night.
Yeah, there's a lot going on tomorrow. You got that going on. We got the golf going on right now, and it's coming down to the wire. Scheffler and Scotty Scheffler and Sam Burns are all squared through 15. Rory's 2 up on Cameron Young through 14. Scheffler just thinking a tough shot on 16, so he's got a bit of an uphill battle. But there's so much going on today in sports and tomorrow in sports. By the end of the day today, we'll be down to 4 teams left in college basketball. Creighton takes on San Diego State. We get off these here airwaves, followed by Miami and Texas. On the women's side, we talked about tomorrow night. You've got Ohio State taking on Virginia Tech. I am so glad I'm not on Morning Juice. No offense to those guys, though, but I'm so glad I'm not on Tuesday because I'd be up way too late. That was the hardest part of doing that, Jen.
I couldn't even imagine.
Was trying to adjust my body to, like, forcing myself a couple of times to go to bed while games were still on because I could not envision myself.
I hate going to bed while something important is on because I won't fall asleep.
Right.
At all.
Today in the Elite Eight on the women's side, we've got Miami. Miami again. You mentioned in the break. Miami could have teams in both.
Teams in the Final Four.
Miami takes on LSU at 7 o'clock. That's on ESPN. Louisville takes on Iowa after that one. Those teams are both going for berths in the Final Four. On the women's side, then on Monday, you got the Ohio State-Virginia Tech game we talked about. But before that, Maryland, South Carolina. So much different than the men's side, where we've got no Big Ten teams left. And like you said, UCLA was, quote-unquote, the last Big Ten team alive.
I made it funny.
We have 3 alive right now in the Elite Eight on the women's side, which is a testament to, again, how daunting the schedule was for Ohio State this year.
Yes, I mean, we had that slide where we were like, oh, are they going to pull themselves out of it?
Right.
And look where they are now.
They're in the Elite Eight with Iowa and Maryland as well. So, on that women's side, yes, it is going to be, because what's interesting about it now, okay, let's say Ohio State, if they get the win against Virginia Tech, they will play the winner of Miami LSU. Yes. Is that correct?
Yes.
So they'll play them next, and then you could have an all Big Ten other side if Maryland somehow they won't beat South Carolina. No. South Carolina's the best damn team.
Yes.
It'll be tough. I'd love to see Ohio State match up with them, but it will be a very daunting task there.
Yeah.
But Ohio State, though, yes, they are still alive right now, taking on Virginia Tech in the Elite Eight. Chance for the Final Four tomorrow night. That game will be on, and then we have so much to talk about next week on FanSports.
Yes.
But glued to my TV again today with the golf and with all the basketball going on. Jen, thank you. It was nice seeing you today.
Nice to see you, too.
See you again next week.
Bodie, thank you so much, dude. We love you. You're awesome.
Great job, Bodie, who is doing this all right now as well. But coming up next, we will start the pregame coverage for the NCAA men's side, the Elite Eight, San Diego State, trying to get to the Final Four. Oh, my God, I keep on saying it against, oh, my God, Creighton. But that's all coming up next right here, 97.1 The Fan.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan. Those sports desk.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. I used to have two problems with my sleep. One, I always woke up feeling tired, and that caused me to take a lot of naps. I wasn't very productive. It sucked. And number two was I snored all the time. My wife would wake up, I would wake up. It was awful. Finally, I went and got checked out, and they said, oh, you've got sleep apnea. Sleep apnea is not something you can mess around with. You got to get it treated. Did you know that as you age, your risk of having obstructive sleep apnea nearly doubles? It's a fact. Sleep apnea is a deadly sleep disorder that only gets worse with age, and snoring is the #1 indicator. Dr. Mark Levy is board certified in the treatment of sleep apnea, and he offers a custom-fitted oral appliance that effectively treats sleep apnea. So that's good news. The other good news is most Medicare patients have little to no out-of-pocket cost. Do not ignore your sleep apnea. Get it treated. Call now for a consultation with Dr. Mark Levy today at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. Get the life back you deserve. Call Dr. Mark Levy today, 1-800-MORE-SLEEP, or check him out online, sleepbettercolumbus.com.
Choices, choices, choices. With 5 exciting Volkswagen SUVs, you have a lot of choices. You want roomy? Choose the Atlas. You want the ultimate in stylish? Choose the Atlas Cross Sport. You want fully electric? Choose the ID4. You want turbocharged? Choose the Taos. You want cargo room galore? Choose the Tiguan. And of course, you'll want to test drive one of these. So choose to go to your local Volkswagen dealer today.
This is your radio home for the NCAA tournament.
Sponsored by Byers Volkswagen, by the airport.
WBNS-FM HD1 Columbus, The Fan.
The following is a presentation of Westwood One Sports. It's the NCAA tournament. It's on Westwood One.
It will be Grant Hill to make the pass. They're not going to guard Hill making the inbounds pass. Here's a high looper. There's Leitner. He turns. He shoots. It is good. Christian Leitner hits a turnaround 17-footer at the buzzer. And the Duke Blue Devils head to Minneapolis. My, oh my, oh my.
Ivy from the logo. Lets it go. No good! For the first time in NCAA history, a 15 seed will head to the Elite Eights. St. Peter's, they're peacocks. You gotta let them fly.
3 at the top of the key. It is no good. It falls just short. Kansas, for the 4th time in school history, men's basketball national champions.
Now it's time for Westwood One's exclusive coverage of the 2023 NCAA Men's Basketball Tournament. Here's your host, Jason Horowitz.
We welcome you to our NCAA broadcast headquarters for regional final doubleheader coverage of the 2023 Men's Basketball Championship. Today's broadcast of the NCAA tournament on the Westwood One NCAA Radio Network is sponsored by Crest Toothpaste, by AutoZone, by Monster.com, by Granger, by CDW, by Progressive Insurance, and by NCAA.com. Folks, how are you? Hope you are having a wonderful Sunday and set for the last day before the Final Four. Along with Doug Gottlieb, Jason Horowitz, happy to welcome you once again to our exclusive coverage of the 2023 NCAA Men's Basketball Tournament. Last night, 9th-seeded FAU, the Owls, going to their first ever Final Four with a 3-1 idiot! Final Four. Second half of a 28-point win to get to their 6th ever Final Four. Who's going to join? We'll start with San Diego State Creighton. That game just off at 2:20 Eastern. And then we'll get to Miami and Texas a little bit after 5 Eastern in Kansas City. Doug Gottlieb, we'll get to our 2 games here in just a moment, but FA dominated Gonzaga, particularly in the second half, with a 28-point win to get to their 6th ever Final Four. Who's going to join them? We'll start with San Diego State Creighton. That game tips off at 2:20 Eastern. And then we'll get you to Miami.
Basketball for interim head coach Rodney Terry over the last couple weeks, dominating Kansas in the championship game of the Big 12, and they've been marching on through probably the Penn State game was their most difficult game in terms of matchups. They looked great the other night, and they continue to kind of flex their muscles, even with the Dylan Dessou injury, a guy who's been averaging 17 points a game in the month of March. They still find ways to score because they just bring in another guy. This is a deep, deep, talented ball club.
Yeah, they are trying to get to their 4th ever Final Four, but just the 2nd since 1947, and the other was 20 years ago, and of course this one in the state of Texas. That game later, we'll have more on it coming up along the way as we're getting ready. Just rolling along, 2:20 Eastern when we'll tip San Diego State and Creighton. From the Westwood One NCAA Radio Network, this is the men's basketball tournament.
The spring bridal buy one, get one half off sale has arrived at Worthington Jewelers. Now through April 1st, select from the thousands of different styles they have or customize and make it your own. WorthingtonJewelers.com, where Columbus gets engaged. At Byers Volkswagen, we believe in options, not just the ones you get on your vehicle. We give you options from start to finish. We're still by the airport, and now you can also shop entirely online. Or if you're a people person, our brand specialists are here to help. We know that options make the whole car buying experience that much better. Fall in love this month and get as low as 4.9% for up to 72 months on some new Volkswagen models. Visit us by the airport or online at columbusvw.com. Offer good for models. APR rate offered to highly qualified buyers up to 72 months. Released through VW Credit. Call dealer for details. 614-864-5180. Offer ends 3/31/23.
Why did I become a meteorologist? Honestly, it's because I was scared of the weather when I was a little boy. I would clean out my toy box and climb in there a safe place during bad storms. So I've spent my whole life trying to figure out why storms happen. I get the fear that some people have from storms because that used to be me. So now I think getting people the right information at the right time empowers them to make smart decisions.
Don't scare. Be prepared. Advance notice from Dr. 10 Chief Meteorologist Sherry Martz.
Ever wonder where your go-to maintenance person gets the metal products they need to fix yours and everyone else's problems? The best in the business go to Metal Supermarkets for their wide variety of metal products and shapes to tackle projects from simple to complex. Metal Supermarkets is your source for all metals cut to size and ready fast. No minimum order with maximum service. Visit the family-owned franchise on North Wilson Road or at Columbus at metalsupermarkets.com.
And Miami is going to dribble this one out. O'Meara dribbling, spinning, smiling. The Hurricanes celebrating as this one comes to a close, and then there were none. All the ones are done. Miami's going to the Elite Eight for the 2nd time in school history, shocking the #1 seeded Houston Cougars 89-75.
Miami, you don't think basketball, right? So for us as a university to have both of us in the Elite Eight is really, really special.
Mullen screwing on the left wing, off the back iron, missed it. Ball kicks around up a couple of feet over to the right corner.
Practically every day to see them be successful is a great feeling. You know, we're all watching their game in the hotel rooms, cheering them on. I'm sure they're doing the same. And for us to both just be representing the university at this elite level, you couldn't ask for better.
And here they are, both playing on the same day with the same massive goal, the Final Four. Jordan Miller of the men's basketball team there in the Elite Eight for a 2nd straight year. They'll take on Texas later on in the day. And the same for women's coach Katie Meyer, trying to get to the Final Four later tonight right here on many of these same Westwood One stations. Will try to lead her 9th-seeded women's team in an upset of 3rd-seeded LSU after already taking down top-seeded Indiana in Bloomington and then 4th-seeded Villanova. And she, like Jordan Miller said, sees the special bond between the team's coaches, too.
Coach L has just a real special joy. He's got that twinkle in his eye right now. His march runs that we're getting used to, his dancing is incredible. And he's coaching a pretty darn good job as well. But when you know both of us, and you know the team, and you see them together in the training room, you see them competing against each other like big brother, big sister. There's a lot of like jawing going back and forth. A lot of, will we beat Carolina? Now you have to. That kind of stuff. It happens all the time within the programs, and so it gives both Coach L and I such faith, such confidence in each other, knowing that we're just pushing each other to the next level. So we're thrilled for them, thrilled for the university, and really thrilled for their team.
Yeah, Katie Meyer was a star player at Duke and then came to Miami in 05. 2011, she was named the AP Coach of the Year. And that same year, Jim Larrañaga took over the men's program and has been responsible for 4 of the school's 5 Sweet 16s. We'll have more on the men in 8, while Iowa's just in the second in 30 years and in search of the school's first Final Four since Hall of Famer C. Vivian Stringer took them there in 1993. Westwood1sports.com, all Alexa-enabled devices, the Varsity Network app, and some of these same stations. You'll be able to hear the Women's Elite 8 later tonight, and then, of course, tomorrow as well. We're working our way towards tip-off for the second half of the Men's Elite 8, which starts with San Diego State and Creighton in just about 35 minutes. But when we return, we'll hear from Jim Larrañaga on his Hurricanes and their chances against Texas. From the Westwood One NCAA Radio Network, this is the men's basketball tournament.
Common Man here for Jermaine Lexus of Dublin and Easton. Here is an impression of my wife over the years. Are you ready?
What do we need high-speed internet for? Oh. What do we need high-definition television for? Oh. Why do we need a Lexus? Oh.
As a matter of fact, if the world were ending, she could only save me or the car, she would save the Lexus. We don't even get intimate anymore. She just sits in the Lexus and smokes a cigarette. The invitation to Lexus event is going on all month long at Jermaine Lexus with a great in-stock inventory to choose from and special rates as low as 4.99% on their most popular models, including the all-new redesigned RX. Financing on a limited term with approved credit. Not all buyers will qualify. $18.91 per thousand finance. Ends $331.23. Don't settle for anything less than the best. Jermaine Lexus, 2 locations to serve you, Dublin and Easton. Check them out online, JermaineLexus.com.
Cheers, Elite 18 are telling the guys that are new that, hey, we were up 6 against Kansas at halftime and let it slip away. Let's not let that happen. Texas. We gotta beat Texas. Get to the Final Four for the first time in school's history.
2006, you were able to do it with George Mason. That team got to the Final Four against all odds that year, making history for George Mason and making tournament history. What did you learn from that experience, if anything, that applies to helping these kids get to that next step?
Well, the first thing is that George Mason team wasn't very big. So what we found is it really wasn't about size, but it really was about skill and playing really well together. And we needed experience. We had 3 seniors who really could play, had been playing a long time together. And then 2 sophomores were added to the group with youthful enthusiasm, really excited. And that made us a very tough team. This Miami team has some similarities. And you can look at Texas, they're similar to us. Their team is fast and athletic and skillful at all the positions. They'll have, in most games, 5 guys in double figures. And their guard play is tremendous. It should be one heck of a matchup tonight.
It really does.
Like fully functioning adults. These often mindless tasks actually take up a lot of our energy. And sometimes we'd be better off just letting our bodies rest, says therapist Casey Davis. Here she is on the TED stage in 2022.
What if a new approach to cleaning could teach us a better approach to treating mental health? In February of 2020, I had my second baby. Because with the first one, I had some postpartum anxiety, and my husband had just taken a very demanding job that was going to keep him busy, I developed a meticulous postpartum plan for myself. My family would rotate in shifts for the first 60 days. The cleaning crew would come once a month. The new moms group would drop off dinners, and my toddler would go to preschool. I was so proud of this plan, and it ended before it even began. Because 2020 is when the COVID lockdowns happened, and all of that support disappeared overnight. In a blur, my days turned into breastfeeding difficulties, toddler meltdowns, and depression. The dishes stayed in the sink for days. The laundry pile reached impressive heights, and there was often not a path to walk from room to room. And when I should have been catching up on sleep, I would lay in bed at night and think to myself, I'm failing. Maybe I'm not capable of being a good mom to 2 kids. I decided to post a joke video on TikTok one day about my house-turned disaster. Some funny shots of my clutter and my dishes and my enchilada pan and the skills that go into care tasks run on autopilot. But for millions of people, the autopilot is broken. If you have access to therapy, it's unlikely your therapist will ever ask you about your laundry. Yet here were hundreds of thousands of people in my comment sections telling me that these daily care tasks were a major pain point in their life. And so I started to wonder, what if we started with these care tasks? Could making daily tasks easier improve mental health quicker?
Support for WNYC comes from Carnegie Hall, which presents Michael Feinstein in a multimedia program celebrating the life and songs of Judy Garland. March 29th. Tickets and information at carnegiehall.org.
You're listening to WNYC. Thanks for spending part of your Sunday afternoon with us here. I'm Tiffany Hansen. Wait, Don't Tell Me is coming up next on 93.9 FM and AM 820. And hoping you'll join us back here this evening at 6 o'clock for Notes from America with host Kai Wright, kicking off the holy month of Ramadan. And he's asking you to share your own evolving traditions for them.
From NPR and WBEC Chicago, this is Wait, Don't Tell Me, the NPR News Quiz. I'm Bill Curtis.
And I'm Peter Sagal. The Biden administration continues its war on petty annoyances, expanding beyond resort fees into even more things that make our lives mildly harder. We'll talk about the next step towards Biden making it illegal for children to be on your lawn. Plus, political guru David Axelrod pretends he saw all this coming.
Dangerous and irresponsible rhetoric. On Saturday, President Putin announced Moscow would deploy tactical nuclear weapons in Belarus. Sasha Schlichter reports.
NATO said it remained vigilant, but it hadn't seen any changes in Russia's nuclear posture that would lead it to adjust its own. It called Moscow's reference to NATO's nuclear sharing totally misleading, adding that Russia had consistently broken its arms control commitments, most recently suspending its participation in the New START treaty. Ukraine has called for the UN Security Council to convene urgently in New York. Earlier, it said the move would make Belarus a nuclear hostage, destabilize it and strip it of its sovereignty.
The EU foreign policy chief urged Belarus not to host Russian nuclear weapons, warning of possible sanctions.
when you cannot find. Finding a way when you cannot see. Mind with this if you cannot pray. I need to find relief. Far behind my mind, it runs. All these thoughts are done. I really need, done. I need to bring my mind out. I really need, done. I really need, I need to bring my mind out. I really need, done now. Oh, yeah. Set me free, freer than the open mind, farther than the eye can ask, freer than the open mind. Yeah, yeah. Set me free. Now I need to find relief. Set me to the open side. Now I need to free my mind. Yeah. At Doctor's Hospital, our lamps just got brighter. The Loyalty Advantage membership program now has 3 unique plans to choose from. From lamp prepaid with free plan care subscription services and discounts, lamp insured with copay waivers and zero upfront collections at the ER and inpatient services, or our new lamp access, a free plan that offers 10% off glass, pharmacy, and imaging. Lamp has a plan for everyone. To sign up, visit our website or give us a call. Doctor's Hospital, trusted and best care now.
Need some extra cash now? Well, come to Auto H&L today, where qualified persons can borrow up to $10,000 cash. What? No hassle and no wait. Your money on the spot. Just bring your passport, NID card, job letter, latest pay stub, and you can walk out with your money. At Auto H&L, we do more than just sell cars. Visit us today on Tony Williams Darling Highway.
Hey! Fuck you! Stupid!
Radio U Buzz Track.
It's time for a buzz track from Peabod. Now, believe it or not, he only went full-time into music a year ago. It feels like, man, he's this good. He's got to have been doing this for more than a year, but nope, it's true. It's been a year, and here's his latest, my favorite part, your buzz track on Radio U.
It's a public road where I can use it.
The melody and Final Jeopardy, give me growing up for a grand. Every single bar is a part of God's plan. What is something together that we never understand? Jackpot, when I run it out, hands up, man. I'm feeling like speaker shaking music. All on Radio U Battery, your one-stop hardcore, streaming free vandalized. The fruits and flowers glisten under expensive lights. Full fit, higher lips, sneaker kiss, shake your hips, frosted tips, middle kiss. I don't wanna live like this. Please be kind, I'm breaking, I'm in his conditions. Truth don't make it alright. Change my mind, shake me till you make me listen. I won't put up a fight. Please be kind, I'm breaking, I'm in his conditions. Truth don't make it alright.
enjoyed the playlist. One more time before I sign out, I have to say thank you so much. If you were a part of our